All these works are larger than life. You step into them.
I find it very overwhelming, actually. It's very, very powerful.
Oh, Pansy, lovely to see you.
More. Good to see you.
Thank you for coming today. I really wanted to show you around Gilbert and George's exhibition, 21st Century Pictures, as it shows their work over 25 years in this landmark exhibition at the Hayward. Gilbert and George are living sculptures, and you're a performance artist, so I really wanted to get your views on symbols, humanity, but also a sense of colour and scale. So shall we have a look around the show?
Yes, let's
go.
it.
This is the enormous face, which, as you can see, it's all the primary colours here. This was done in 2005, and I think what I found really interesting about it is seeing double.
Yeah.
The notion of the double. And this work too, if you look at it, it's almost like symmetrical.
Yeah.
You have the double. You're a double too, in the sense of you are an artist that also has a persona of Pandemonia. So can you tell me that notion of what the double means to you?
Well, I'm one artist, two identities, which is opposite of Gilbert and George. They're two people, one artist. Our identities aren't necessarily something that fits into one category. And art is a sort of way of freeing ourselves from the world. It looks quite sort of shamanic or sort of religious, sort of stained glass images.
Exactly, it's like the altar of Gilbert and George, that we're looking at these shrines.
Yeah.
There's religious connotations here. It could be shamanic, could be devil worship. So to that notion of freeing yourself, they're having fun on that as well, you know?
There's a sort of slight shamanic thing going on in my work, that I enter the costume of Pandemonia and then I travel through the city into other places. So like at the moment, no part of me has touched this gallery. It's as though I've avoided the eye of fate through artistry and creativity.
That this whole work, Fate, is about exploring different religions, because they don't ascribe to one religion. They want to say, let's actually deconstruct them. Let's actually open them up to possibilities. What's your reading of this? What do you trust? It's so multi-layered and multi-meaning that it's actually a way of exploring new worlds and new understandings. So you can see all around here, this is not hung in chronological order. All the exhibitions from 2005, 7, maybe with works from 2019, and with different themes, are hung mostly all together like a mishmash. Why they've hung like that is so there's a sense of vibrancy, that you can have conversation with earlier works. So it's about re-looking at notion of time, that it's not in a chronological order. So this is from the Paradisical series, which was about beautiful flowers, a utopia. It's almost like hallucinatory colours, but it's about what is the cycle of life and death, with the flower right in the middle, like an Italian memento mori, which is the life and death of the flower. So it's a notion of passing time, and as they get older, how do you question that as an artist? What's the cycle of life and death within your work?
Well, Pandemonia is an idea, so I exist kind of in the real world and in the virtual world, so in theory I could live forever. I'm kind of from the media age, so I wanted to make something that kind of related to that aesthetic, like being forever young, shiny, youth, beauty, all these sort of things. So I created like a cartoon version, and these symbols or ideas are timeless.
So we're now in the Gallery 2, which is enormous works, sex, money, race, religion here, from 2016.
I think things like sex, money, race, religion, they're things that sort of stamp themselves down on your identity. They're very powerful forces. And maybe these forces, this kind of labelling, distorts our identities.
But I think all of them then add up to that playful sense. To me, if you look at how the font is done, so you've got sex, money, race, religion, it's almost like they call it the Hockton Cactus font, which is quite funny, but it has something of the occult on it, but with humour. So the fact that you've had these llamas with all the flowers in the back are artificial flowers and then layered with jewellery. It looks like this Liberty, almost Baroque pattern, but again with hallucinogenic colours, it really has almost like this dream-like, trippy sense.
Tell me about the llamas.
The llamas, well, this is very interesting too, because for such a serious show, like this is a landmark exhibition of over 25 years, to offset such seriousness that we talked about, like death, race, money, religion, that actually humour is a massive part of the show. And it's self-depreciating, which I think is great.
I use humour as a way of disarming in my work. And my dog,
Snowball.
Snowball, yeah. When I go to events and meet people, my dog always breaks the ice. Everybody loves Snowball. He doesn't bark. He squeaks. It's a great way of allowing people to partake in the work and sort of slowly receive the ideas.
And that's through the power of art. Art is very much a bridge to discussion, and Gilbert and George do it in a way that it is immersive. These huge works, they're colourful, they have the humour, but there's a bridge into it that you can discuss, and they are super accessible.
This one over here, 28 Streets, which we're going to see in a moment, I mean, I find that I find it really gets into me.
Should we go and look at that artwork now? Let's go and have a look. So Pandemonia, I want to show you 28 Streets, which is one of my favourites. This is from 2003. So Gilbert and George have lived in the East End of London since the 1960s, and they've seen the changes of the streets, the people around them, and all this 28 streets. It's 28 streets around the East End of London. But what's interesting is the spectral, these ghostly figures.
Noticeably, they're not actually here. So what we're left with are these like shadows, or are these spectral lights coming from where they were? So to me it feels like, have they affected the streets, or have the streets affected them? Part of my work is about the environment around me, so it's like the environment reflects into me. It's like the public make me, it's their interaction makes Pandemonia into Pandemonia. But these streets are not just benign, there's a sort of like a shadow to it, like the way they've got these lice and crabs and things, so there's this kind of, the streets aren't all good, there's a sort of...
There's that underbelly.
There's a grittiness, a lived-in real grittiness to this.
So it is a real strong piece, like you say, about the shadow side of humanity, as well as the joyful side. Look at the immense scale. The shadows, Gilbert and George, in every work are looking down at us, but with us. So I don't feel that this feels too imposing. It's more like immersive TV screens, or there's like a landscapes that we're walking into the world of Gilbert and George.